Okay, it's been a good while again since we've posted any videos up here at Turnarcades, owing to a bit of a slow month and some personal problems with slow production down slightly. But there are a few things finishing up. Now, those of you who've been following us for a while will know that this particular Microcade, this is Simon Burton's Microcade, has been in production for a long time. It's been virtually finished, but what we've been doing over the last few months is we've been refining the spec and the performance of the Microcade to try and squeeze as much performance out of the more compact, energy efficient PCs inside, so you get a bit more of an equal performance, similar to our very old P3 systems. It was already kind of on par with that anyway, but those of you who know, when you take a compact PC using a mini ITX board, they tend to use certain tricks to get around the fact you haven't got any external cards. So, such as the way the video RAM is implemented is slightly different, and it does cause a bit of a performance drop compared to an equivalent, say, Pentium 3 1 GHz. If you had the same system in this, the system would seem to perform slightly lower because of the way it does things like that. So what we've done is we've taken our existing system. It is still virtually the same as on our upright systems. The menu systems are the same, the way it all operates and everything is the same, but the only difference is we've shaved it down to the platforms we know will absolutely run. And what we've done is we've changed a few of the display settings to improve the overall like, I don't know, experience of the system. One of the first things we've done, which I will just go into now, is with the screens that we're using in these are monitors intended for use in cars. They're a special type which have got a direct VGA input, which is very handy if you're going to do what we do, which is squeeze as much as you can in such a small box. The power output is quite low, and but the only problem is that these monitors have a bit of an odd native resolution. It's not like your standard PC monitors where even older ones will support, you know, several resolutions and refresh rates. This one, I think the native resolution was something very odd, which most standard kind of PCs won't output without a bit of help. So what we've had to do is we've had to take the 800 by the 800 by 600 we had in our standard systems caused a problem where at the top and the bottom of the screen, what would actually happen is it would shave about 10 lines off the top and bottom. So what you'd end up having, if I move the camera, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, you end up having that kind of effect where it cut that off. If I move it now, it would cut the top off to kind of that kind of point. Now, it doesn't seem too problematic with console games or, you know, the menu systems and things like that, and it wasn't. But when you think of certain arcade games, especially upright games, where high scores and your current running score and perhaps lives and things were displayed at the top and bottom of the screen, on some games it cut those off and it ruined the experience slightly. So what we've done is we've changed the resolution of the majority of the systems, and we've completely redrawn the menu skins and text to be clearer on the smaller screen, and it's now running in 640 by 480, and these monitors will stretch that correctly. Of course, lowering the resolution does alter the performance. Going to a slightly lower resolution doesn't cause any problems in terms of, you know, display effects, but what it does is it actually helps speed up a couple of games which did struggle when it was trying to adjust them to display an 800 by 600 resolution. Most notably are things like Neo Geo games, where obviously they're a little bit more demanding, they use a bit more RAM anyway, and obviously on systems like this you're going to notice a little bit of lag. A couple of the more advanced platforms as well, such as Mega CD and even 32X, which we put on to test, seem to run quite badly. but now we've made the refinements, they do seem to run a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly, for everyone's sake, this is the machine. This is as you can see, we've got a little army of Microcades kind of going on around here anyway. What's slightly different about this one is that we've taken the side profile and we've rounded off the top section and shape, because this customer in particular wanted a machine very similar to the original Galaxian machine. So even though it wasn't possible to replicate the entire side shape because it would mean enclosing the controls here and causing a problem with comfort while you're playing, we have rounded off the tops, and what we've done is we've completely redrawn the vector artwork to suit the profile of this machine and just filled it with blue. So rather than having white cabinet sides, you've just got the full artwork sides. But what we have done is we've continued to use light green T-moulding just like the original Galaxian machine. We've got a fully white painted cabinet, as you can see there at the top and down the back. You see the power button there mounted on the back. We've got the original Galaxian marquee, the black retainers as you would have found, and then what we've done is we've taken the correct Galaxian marquee artwork, which is the kind of meteor asteroids thing, and what we've done is we've taken what used to be on the control panel and we've put that information along the bottom there. We've photoshopped it in to go along the bottom there, and what we've done is we've taken out the actual control instructions from the centre there, and it just gives a nice, you know, a nice kind of custom but fairly authentic look. And then what we've done is taken a section out of there and moved the control and fire kind of control panel markers up onto the actual control panel to suit it. And just like the original arcade, we've got a red ball top joystick and white buttons, and then down the front, just to kind of keep in with the colour scheme, we've got the red credit button alongside the standard start button. So again, for Simon's sake, what we're going to do is just fire up the appropriate game, which is Galaxian, and you'll now see on this system how that tinkering we've done with the display has altered the way it will now display vertical games. As you can see now, much of where it says high score and the current score would have been obscured by the trimming of the top 10 lines or so, and also the number of credits being displayed would have been trimmed at the bottom. So now we've altered that, it now displays that correctly. Let's drop a few credits in. This is one game I can play one-handed, sort of. As you can see, Galaxian's there working just nice. I'm about to get killed, but that's running just nicely now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of that, and I'm going to move the camera over to here on this little Acme mounting I've done temporarily. And what we're going to do is a lot of people have been asking about the actual performance of the Microcade. They've seen a few videos, they're fairly happy with it, but they want a more accurate look at specific games to see just how these, like I say, energy efficient systems tend to handle it. So if I just fix this in place. Seems okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fire up a few different games to show just how they perform. So first of all, we'll go to a very challenging one, which I know has struggled on the first couple of Microcade systems we bought, but now we've made these refinements it will help, and that is the Neo Geo game Metal Slug. So fire that up. Let's check that's still in shot. That seems okay. And you can see that loading up now. They do take a little longer Neo Geo games, but as you can see, now we've set the frame skip slightly higher on Neo Geo games, but in our experience on many games, you can set the frame skip quite high, up to about 8 or 9 on some games, without any detriment to the gameplay. Now this is set at frame skip 5 or 6 as I recall, and as you can see that through the demo it's running just fine. As it goes on to the actual gameplay demo now, you can see the animation's nice and smooth, it's consistent, you know, and I'm just going to fire up a game and you'll see there's no detriment to the gameplay either. See, the animation's smooth, the controls respond smoothly, there's no delay in the controls, and it plays just beautifully. A few people at the shows commented that games like this were a little slow, so now we've made these changes, it's a lot better. You can of course do things like you can on the bar top machines with these. If you hold the start button and press certain buttons, it will do certain things. So that admin feature is pause. You hold start and press button 6 to pause it. You can call up the in main menu if you want to change controls, activate cheats or things like that. And of course holding start and pressing the credit button will exit the game and take you back to the menu. Use buttons 4 and 5, you can switch between the different platforms. So I've showed you that they're coping much better with more challenging arcade games. If I go back this way, we'll load up, which is technically it is a 4th generation console, but obviously it starts to get a bit more advanced with the CD technology. We've got the Mega CD, and this is Silpheed. Now I'm going to let this run through the demo, because on the opening demo you get to see it doing live 3D rendering. Now obviously with a lower power system, you're going to see, this is where you're going to see the holes, and well, this system, our system, deals with it just fine, emulates it, it renders it in real time and displays it just perfectly, as you can see there. There's no slowdown, the sound and everything's correct. If I start the game up, you'll see that it plays very smoothly as well. Again, you've got 3D craft on there, animating perfectly. Sound and everything's correct. Games like this of course play great with the arcade controls. If we once again step out of that, show you another system which previously it struggled with, but now we've made the optimisations, it's running a lot smoother, and that is the 32X. Again, a 4th generation system, but using more advanced chips and everything to get better graphics. So obviously emulation of these systems is a bit trickier. And let's just get the classic Doom up, and you'll see, as you can see, the animation is running just fine on there. It's running at full speed. It's handling the 3D effects well. So that's that. Even though they're more basic platforms, a few more people have asked to see what else this system is capable of. It probably will run a few more systems, but here are the systems we find it runs best. So we've got Mega CD, we've got 32X, we've got PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16, however you choose to refer to it, runs that just fine. Neo Geo Pocket, I found that to be a very good system. It wasn't something I played much when it first came out, and many of the games play really well on here. Obviously it had a lot of SNK's ports on there, so you got the King of Fighters series, Gals Fighters, what else is on there? You've got a couple of Metal Slug games which are really good. Then we've got obviously your 8-bit handhelds, got the Game Gear and the Game Boy. They both run perfectly as you'd expect. 8-bit systems, Master System and the NES. and obviously when it comes to the 16-bit systems, it doesn't struggle with those either. I mean, that was the 4th generation too. They don't have the more advanced chips that that obviously like the Mega CD and the 32X had, and we found that this system handles them perfectly. There's no problems there at all. Let's quickly boot up Sunset Riders to show you. See, nice smooth animation, sound and everything's fine. And get into the game. Animation is fluid. Game plays perfectly. Obviously the home 16-bit systems had some excellent arcade ports, so they're brilliant, ideal systems to have in an arcade really, because there's so many games that play better with arcade controls. Come out of that. Quickly show you Altered Beast since I've got it up. A lot of people hated this game, bundled with the original Mega Drive, but I always thought it was a great game. Not quite on par with things like Golden Axe and Alien Storm and things like that, but nevertheless, still a great game. And as you can see, I'm having no problems playing this. I'm holding it slightly awkwardly because I do have a bad left hand, and the way the table is, I've got no elbow room. But at home, what you would do when you take this home is you take the entire system, push it slightly further back on the table, and then you can rest your elbows on the table quite comfortably like this, and you've got full access to the buttons there, and obviously your other hand for the joystick. So that, in a nutshell, is the Microcade. Like I say, this is a slightly custom one for Simon Burton, which he's been waiting a while for, and I hope he's very happy with it. The refinements we've made should make it a much better experience for